Hi! Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm gonna tell you the story of when I was a hoe. Hi guys, this is Scylla. This is my first time. That's not true, because if you look down in my YouTube playlist, you'll see I've done videos from like last year. Cool hiccup. But you'll see really being serious about it this time, and I'm excited. Oh, shit. Hey everyone, this is Scylla. Thank you for coming back on our channel, The Lamberts. So part of this channel, I'm going to be sharing a lot of my motherhood journey because it's really been a crazy, beautiful experience, and I just want to share it and be able to maybe throw some light towards somebody who's going through the same thing. If you can't tell already, I'm going to be talking about when I was 19 and pregnant. It is for any of you guys who have kind of followed my journey before YouTube and followed my blog. I kind of touch a little bit on this subject, but I really don't go into detail about being 19 and pregnant. I feel like I speak more about my motherhood experience with Max and I, but nothing too in detail when it comes to my motherhood journey with finding out I was pregnant at 19. So that's gonna happen a lot. I know there's probably hundreds of videos just like this for girls who are pregnant and young. When I was 19 and pregnant, the last place I would have thought to look was YouTube. The last place I would have thought to look or get any like sort of experience, it just wasn't a thing. Like it really wasn't like a thing that people were talking about or posting or anything at that time. If I'm able to shed some light, this isn't like my experience last year. This is my experience 8 years ago. Like, I've grown up a lot. I've learned a lot. I've experienced so many different things. I am not even the same person that I was that I'm even talking about today. It's cool for me to even talk about it. It's a bit of a, crazy story. It still is, but if I could help somebody with my story and my experience, then why not? So Max is my son, and his dad and I met because we were actually neighbors. And when I say neighbors, I mean like really neighbors, like my house, his house. And at that time, houses were being built, so like my house was built for my family and I, and his house was built for his family. We really started talking with each other. I was 18 and he was 21, and we kind of just hung out, played basketball in the front. Like, it was nothing too serious. He did want to date, and I was just in a different place in my life. Like, I was just, I don't know, focused on school and my work, and I was also on like a very big spiritual journey with church, and I was just like, no, like, let's just hook up. Everyone's gonna think I'm such a I swear, we did not have sex. We didn't do anything. After that, he was actually moving. And I think that's probably part of the reason why I wasn't like really into like wanting to have a serious relationship with him, because he was moving and I was about to start my senior year. Yeah, I was about to start my senior year in high school, so I was like, dude, we're not gonna work out. He left, he moved to the East Coast, and then I did my senior year, and then kind of like towards the end of my senior year, I kind of started partying and doing things I shouldn't have been doing. I was going through a really big rebelling stage. Like, I was very rebellious, and I was starting college, and he actually moved back to New Mexico, but he was in a different part of the state. He was in a state called Portales, which all they have is a college there and cows, and that's it. I was accepted there, and I had a scholarship, and I chose not to go there my first semester but he had moved back my first semester, hit me up, was like, I'm gonna be in town, we should hang out. And I was like, for sure, like I'm a free spirit now. I was rebelling. I was partying a lot. I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing. I was underage drinking. I was trying things I shouldn't have been trying, and it made me lose sight of all those morals and goals and values I had before. And we met up and we were talking almost every day, and even though we were hours apart from each other, after initially meeting up, we kind of decided, like, what do you think if we started long distance dating? For me, it was like no harm, no foul. Like, he's in a party stage, I'm in a party stage, we're long distance, we'll see each other once or twice a month, like, who cares? So it was like a fail-proof plan in my eyes. Going into my second semester, I was still rebelling and doing things I shouldn't have been doing, and I really wanted to break free of the rules my parents had. I wanted to break free of the curfew. I wanted to break free of just everything, and I was like, I still have this scholarship. I still have the option to go to this university in Portales, and I'm pretty set up because at that time he already offered to get an apartment with me, and we would just go to school and hang out. And it was honestly, like, I feel like on my side and on his end, like, we walked into it so carefree. I think it's great to have a lifestyle that carefree, but I was like, let's do it. I told my parents, like, I'm gonna go to college here. I've already kind of set it up. I'm gonna be good. They knew Max's dad because his parents and my parents were friends. And they kind of seen him grow up for the past several years right next door. So they were like, okay, well, we know him. And it was a lot easier of a conversation than I even thought it was gonna be. So that was really good.
Sorry, so what is this? Oh, it's a shirt.
Leading up to the moving day, I was already getting symptoms that I may have been pregnant, but I honestly had no idea I was pregnant. That was like the last thing that crossed my mind, and it gets like even wilder how ignorant I was. Going up to the day, of the moving day of me moving to this other town, I was like experiencing such bad menstrual cramps. Like, I remember going to the bathroom a lot because I felt like I had just, or was about to just start my period, because my cramps were so bad, and I was just like, I can't, I'm about to start my period. I remember, like, I had so many tampons on me, I had so many things to make sure, like, I was good if I started, because I kept feeling like I was about to start because these cramps were awful. And I remember I was on the phone with my best friend, and I was like, I'm about to start my period, these cramps are so bad. Like, I was rolled in a ball in the fetal position on my bed, like, this is so awful. I've never had cramps like this before, this is gonna be a bad one. Tom is coming. And I remember I just passed out on my bed, which I'm not a napper. I'm not like somebody who's tired and just passes out. Like, I've never been that type of person. So I was like, wow, all that partying got up to me. I just passed out, but no. Another thing was, like, my diet was just out the window. Like, I'm very strict about my diet before kids. It would just go out the window. Like, I just kept eating everything, and even, this isn't like bad to eat, but I mean, like, I remember Max's dad and his friend and my parents like packed my dresser into his truck and stuff, and I was there, like, I think it wasn't, I don't even think I made it, but I think my sister made like some tuna fish and crackers. Like, she made herself a little lunch, and like I smelled it and I was like, that smells so good, and I literally just like ate all of it. Like, I don't even think it was meant. I'm almost 100% sure she didn't even get a bite of it. Almost feel like it's 100% if she tried to take it from me, I would have bit her finger off. I could literally even like remember the feeling of how delicious it was. Like, I was so about those tuna and crackers. I was like, this is the best thing ever. And And I was just like really in love with like food, or had like moments where I would just like engorge in all the food, and that was like a symptom, because then I'd find myself doing that 100 times more later on. The symptom I had is I remember I had just come back from work, and I was like, I wasn't nauseous at work. I wasn't nauseous coming home from work. I was nauseous as soon as I opened the front door to my house. And I remember my grandma and my mom were in the kitchen, and they were sitting down, and like the bathroom's right here, and I just like beelined it for the bathroom and like did the loudest throw up noise. It was so much throw up, and then like I was done. Like I was fine after I threw up. I was like, that was weird. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now. And I think I remember my mom and grandma getting really concerned about me and like a little bit frustrated because they thought that I was hungover or drunk or something. And I was like, of all the times, this is the time. I was like, no, I didn't even know what was wrong with me. And so that was weird. Like, it's really crazy of all the symptoms I was getting before knowing I was pregnant, but I was so out of tune with my mind and my body and my thoughts, and just, I was so young. Like, you really don't pay attention to your, or maybe it's just me, I think it's probably just me, but like, you don't pay attention to your body that much. After that, we were leaving to move, and I just kept forgetting. Like, I was like in a weird fog. Like, I kept forgetting to take the exit. Max's dad kept following me off like exits, like going completely different. He's like, where are you going? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know, I'm out of it. In Portales, this town now, and I'm enrolled in school. He's enrolled in school. We're about to start the new semester. We have our apartment. It's this crappy old apartment that we ended up having to move out of, but it's this crappy apartment. I'm cool with it. He's cool with it. We don't really care. I mean, we don't have kids. My best friend and I, we had our periods so in sync. Like, if we didn't start on the same day, then we started like a day after, a day before, or something. Like, we were so in sync with our menstrual cycles. And she was like, oh my gosh, you just ended. And I was talking to her on the phone. I was like, you just ended? I haven't even started. Mind you, like, we did not have like smartphones. Like, maybe there were smartphones out at that time, but I didn't have one. I had this phone. There wasn't like period tracking our phones. Like, it was just like, I don't feel like I'm that old, but man, that would have been like so helpful. I was like, what in the world? And so I was like, and I'm getting period cramps. Like, what is going on? So I was like, should I get a pregnancy test? And I was on the hunt for a job, and I was just like, I don't even have money to get a pregnancy test. But I got one. Max's dad was in night classes, so he wasn't there. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this test. And I take the test, and I'm on the phone with her, and I'm like, I'm just waiting. And like, I look over, and it's just one line, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's just one line. Oh my gosh, thank goodness. And she was like, oh my gosh, I wonder. And then like, I look back over to the text, and like comes the second line. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she was like, I know. Imagine if I was like, no, oh my gosh. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I just kept saying, oh my gosh. And then I was like, there's 2 lines. And she was like, what? And like, kind of felt like my body just went all numb. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever gotten this like floating sensation. Like, their body isn't even there, but they're there, and they're just kind of, I don't know, but my phone dropped because I wasn't even a person. I was just like a floating thing. And like, I was so numb. I was like, I feel like the phone hung up when I dropped, or I don't even know, but I remember I had to call her back. Oh my gosh, it says I'm pregnant. And I just started crying. I was crying because I think somewhere deep inside I knew that this was gonna eventually happen, but I was like, no, it can't happen, because I was on the depot. Take 572. I don't even know. I was just like in such disbelief. so many things went through my head. Like, what about school? What about this relationship? Because we were pretty new into our relationship. And I just felt like, of course, this was gonna catch up to me. And what the heck? Why didn't the shot work? And is the baby okay? And what is he gonna think? Like, goodbye to all my plans with my friends. Like, I was just so, I don't even know. Like, I was just so in disbelief with everything. Like, I just did not know how or what or anything. Like, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. And I called back my best friend, and she's just like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like, so you're pregnant? And I was like, yes, I don't know. Yes, I'm pregnant. Like, what am I supposed to do? And she was like, I don't know. Like, she's so young too. We're 19. Like, we're asking the blind. And so, or wait, the blind leading the blind. I'm not only pregnant, but I am in another town. I know nobody except for Max's dad, and I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't, like, this place is really like in the middle of nowhere, and there's not a lot to do. There's not a lot of, like, there's just not a lot of anything. I was just super shocked and disappointed in myself and scared, nervous, and nauseous, and hormonal, and pissed. I waited for Max's dad to come home, and I was like, we need to talk. And he was like, okay. And I was like, I took this test and I'm pregnant. And he was just like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I know, I don't even know what to do. And we were both just stunned. Like, I didn't expect for any of this to happen, and we didn't know what to do. We didn't know where to turn, and we were both deathly afraid to tell our parents. So we were just like, okay, well, we're little kids making big kid decisions when we were little kids playing house, and this is what happens when little kids play house. So we had to put on our big girl panties and figure out what to do. So I ended up booking an appointment with the women's center that they have out there, and we had to wait for our first doctor's appointment. Why is my printer going off? It's so creepy. We didn't know how far I was because I was on the depot shot. Like, there was just no telling how far I was along, like, because then I almost, like, was questioning, like, when did I have my period last? Like, it was just very, like, so far. We didn't know. Like, I honestly really couldn't tell them a date or anything. I was like, I'm so confused. So, they had me take a pregnancy test. It said positive. I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. They said that we're going to do an ultrasound. And so I was like, oh, okay. They did the ultrasound, and lo and behold, it was a baby. I'm a bit, like, shocked at how far I was. I have never ever, like, with Amber or Alexis or the miscarriages I have had, like, I find out very early on, and I see the baby when they're the size of, like, a grain of rice. Max was, like, yeah, his, like, legs and feet was, like, waving and stuff, and I was just like, oh, and I was like, how did that get in there? I was almost, like, I want to say 9.5, 10 weeks pregnant, and I was able to see my baby, and there was my baby, and the OB was telling me, like, okay, so here's your placenta, and here's your uterus, and I kid you not, like, this is so embarrassing to even say this, but I was like, a what? A uterus? Like, what the heck is that? Like, a placenta? Like, what is that? I think I even said, like, a uterus. Who knew I had one of those? Like, I didn't even know. I did not know what a uterus was. And that's so sad. Like, I feel like they're probably like, this poor girl. She does not know all her body parts. Should we point to where her nose is? Like, I don't even know. Like, did I not go to sex ed class? Or I guess I just didn't pay attention, but like I literally did not know that I had a uterus or what a uterus was. I'm so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I really was so out of the loop of my body and my body parts and how I got pregnant and everything of that. Like, I did not learn how, obviously I know you get pregnant through sex, but I did not know the process until after I had Max. Like, that is so sad. I was very clueless. I was very ignorant. I was very oblivious, and I shouldn't have been doing big girl things. They gave me my due date, and I remember coming home to our dirty little apartment, and I was like, what are we gonna do? What am I gonna say? Are you gonna tell your parents? I think he told his mom first. And I was like, I'm not going to tell my mom until I see that baby. I know that baby's okay. And everything. So I waited to tell my parents because I wanted to make sure that if I was going to tell them this, that they were going to see a baby at the end of it. Like, you know, I needed to be sure. I remember he had to go to work, and I was just kind of in the apartment alone, and I was like, okay, I need to call my mom and tell her. And my mom, basically, I called her and I was like, I need to tell you something, and she literally just took it out of my mouth. She was like, you're pregnant. I knew that was gonna happen. And I absolutely understand, because nobody wants their kid to play house without, or I mean, some people might, but I mean, my parents and how they raised me in a good Christian home and the morals and values I was raised with, like, they literally raised me to try to prevent this from happening. And my rebelling stage really kicked me in the butt in the fastest way possible, because it happened so fast, so soon, so quick, so everything. So she said, like, I knew this was gonna happen. And I tried to, like, hold back tears and stuff. At this point, I already had a picture of, like, Max and, you know, like, in the, what's up? I sent my sister a picture of the Max, and she was so excited for me. Like, she was so happy. She was so excited to become an auntie, and she was the best auntie to Max. And so my mom and my dad, I think it really just only took, I feel like, a day for them to wrap their head around it all, because the next day she was calling me and super supportive, and she was like, well, this is what you can expect, and when do you find out the sex? And, you know, it took a minute, as I feel like it would take any parent who wants the best for their child, but then she came around really fast and was super excited, which really was the first moment that I was able to be excited, because I was scared out of my damn mind. I did not know how I was going to do any of this, let alone I was really learning who Max's dad was for the first time too. Like, it was like, if you are not pregnant and you were 19 and watching this, just be so careful. Be so careful, and remind and tell yourself that making big people decisions are going to lead to big people problems, so be careful. My next step was to tell my professors and teachers at the university, because I was pregnant and I felt like crap. Max, symptom-wise, was my hardest pregnancy. I was throwing up every single day. I had nosebleeds. I had this weird, like, I had headaches and just nauseous 24/7. Gosh, everything, I was so moody. I couldn't wrap my head around what I want or didn't want. This is actually common for me in pregnancies as I've gotten pregnant and had my daughters. This is who I am. My first trimester, it's really rough on me. And so, that was like really new for me to kind of figure out that while in a new relationship, in a new town, in a new place, and I know no one, and it was really rough on me. Max was my high-risk pregnancy. I had placenta previa with him, and then about 7 months pregnant, I ended up getting shingles with him. And so it was a very stressful pregnancy. And I feel like if you are in college and pregnant, tell your professors, tell your teachers that you are pregnant and expecting, so that they can understand you. Not necessarily take it easier on you because this is all your decision, but so they could just understand you a little bit better and know maybe why you've been running to the bathroom a lot, if it's because you have to pee or if it's because you're puking. I told my teachers and they were so nice. They were so nice. They were so understanding. I absolutely loved them, and they became really good. At that point, really like my only friends. At that time in my life, not that I lost any of my other friends in my hometown, but I didn't know anybody, and they were really the only people that I shared that I was pregnant with, besides my best friend, a couple of other friends, and my parents and my family, and Max's dad. And so I was able to build a relationship with them because of that. It didn't make it easy, and I honestly did not tell any of my friends. There's only like, I could really say like 5 people who were friends in my whole hometown that knew I was pregnant. And I really didn't want to tell anybody. So it was really convenient that I was in this town that I knew nobody, because I really didn't want to tell anybody I was pregnant, because I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. At that time, was there Twitter? I don't know. Like, Facebook was the main social media outlet, and everybody shared their opinions on there. And at that time, you know, everybody's becoming an adult, but everybody's voicing their opinions on teen pregnancy. Like, everyone's getting knocked up, and I'm over here. Like, and it was just, you know, there was like stupid memes, or it actually wasn't even memes, it was literally them saying it. But I was so embarrassed. And then I also thought, like, it's so not fair for anybody to be saying this unless you're a virgin, because the fact is that people get pregnant while they're on birth control. That was my first time getting pregnant on birth control, but I also got pregnant on the IUD after that, you know, and I miscarried, but I got pregnant on the IUD. You know, it's just, I thought it was so unfair that people were voicing these things out, when it was like, well, if you don't want to get pregnant, then yeah, stay abstinent. But anybody can get pregnant. Like, birth control is not 100%. Anybody could easily be that little 1%. And just even reading those things made me really pull back from ever sharing my news with anybody. The first thing I posted of me being pregnant was in July, and it was maternity photos my sister took of me, and I was due in August. Of course, though, after I had Max, I wanted to share him with the world. I wanted to share him with everybody, because he is and was the most precious baby. Like, having him changed my world. I do want to say, like, before even getting pregnant, nobody trusted me with the baby. Like, I was very much the horsing around kind of girl. Like, I was the one who wants to go wrestle with the boys in the mud and be tough and rough and rumble. And like, I was never like, and even as like a child, I was never one to like play house, or I was never one to play Barbies. Like, I never played with Barbies. I remember my first interaction with a Barbie was I was burning it. I was burning it with a match, and my cousin told on me, and I got in so much trouble. Like, I was just never really girly, so nobody wanted me to babysit. Nobody wanted me to watch their kids. I didn't want to watch their kids. I didn't like babies. Like, I just really wasn't, it wasn't my thing. I remember being in church, and I was in Young Women's and I was sitting there, and Young Women's is like where all the younger girls, like 13 to 18, get together. I was sitting there and they were talking about like the gift of being a mother and this, and I was like, I'm not gonna be a mom. Like, I'm gonna have my own business. I'm gonna be CEO. Like, no one's gonna touch me. Like, no one's gonna impregnate me. And, well, I should have shoved my damn foot in my mouth because I was the first one to get pregnant. Let me tell you, as soon as that baby was in my hands, my entire world changed so much. I did not know how much I was gonna love this baby. Like, and being a mom, I don't even, and that's why I kind of said in the beginning of this, like, I am such a different person. Like, even talking about this person that I was before, she was fun and cool and I love her, but like, it is just not me. I'm just not that person to any degree. And everything that I am is because I'm a mom. Like, as soon as Max was put into my arms, I was just so blown away with how in love I was. He is the best thing that has ever happened to me. That might be like a lot to say for some moms, especially considering my journey with Max, because it's still an ongoing journey. Obviously, we're the Lamberts, so you know that Max's dad and I didn't work out. I would do that all over again. I'd go through even me being stupid again if it meant that I was gonna end up with Max. I would really do it all over again because that's how much he improved my life. That is what got me here in this room with this camera, talking to this camera. Like, he is who started it for me. Everything that I do now is because I'm a mom. I'm incredibly proud of my journey. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my kids. I'm proud of where I'm at in my life. And I think if there's anybody out there who is 19 and pregnant, or 18 and pregnant, or whatever age you are, in some sort of in college and pregnant, just know, like, it will get better. If you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed and scared, it's going to get better. If you are going through something like this, like, please, like, message me, like, let's get talking to each other, because you may not know it, but the best part of your life is coming. So I wanted to hop on here and share my first story time with you guys, and I can't wait for it to be like 10 years from now, me look back on this video and be like, oh my gosh, you're so stupid. Now that I have more than one kid out there, I have to get back to them because David's gonna kill me. Yeah, if you guys want more stories like this about my motherhood journey, give it a thumbs up. I have so much more to share. I have so much more to talk about. I have so much more I've gone through since then. So be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe and click on the bell so that you guys know when we're posting new videos. I don't have like a set day and time of when I post. I always think I do, and then I'm like, I don't want to post on that day. Be sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys later.